What's up, graphic designers? In today's class, we're going to apply the dispersion technique to reimagine this Light We Lost book cover so that we create something that looks a little bit like this. And I can't help but recall that in our last class, we learned how to apply the dispersion technique by experimenting with layer masks. And I know that we're going to need like a foreground and background layer to achieve this effect. So here's one example. Here is another that I didn't love because the brush was a little bit too small. And then likewise, we've got this one, and I need you guys all to keep your eyes on the prize today. So how are we going to produce something that looks a little bit like this? That's a great question. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to find an image for maybe either a celebrity, an athlete, or maybe a photo that we took in class. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in here, like so. Here we've got Kai and AG. And again, we're going to be reimagining this cover. So I'm going to very briefly reiterate the steps to achieve the dispersion technique. So the first thing that we're going to do here is I'm going to hold Command click. I'm going to create a selection on the layer itself. We're going to create a new layer and we're going to pick a color. And instead of blue, this time I'm going to do a dark green. Sure, why not? Paint bucket. We're going to fill it. I'm going to hide this background layer. And we can't tell, but that's of course because it's beneath layer 2, this green layer. Okay, so the next thing that I know is that when we apply a layer mask, and we press B for brush, and black is in the foreground, we can sort of like peel away at this layer. And what you're going to do is you're going to be super artistic, and you're going to think about the size of the brush, the kinds of your brush. We've got so many that we can choose from, and that looks great. But we also want elements of this green, I don't know, silhouette or statue to be sort of disintegrating into the breeze. And so to do that, I'm going to press I. I'm going to select the green. And we're going to press Command Shift and Enter. And you know, it can be on top. Sure, why not? We're going to left click with the paint bucket. And now this fills a whole image, but you guys, I know that you know that we need to apply a layer mask. And now we're going to press Command I. And so now what we want to do is we want to reveal elements. So I'm going to press B, and I can see that white is in the foreground, and that's great. And so now what we're going to do is simply brush away so it looks a little bit like that. That is amazing. All right, so once we apply the dispersion technique, when we return to like our inspiration, we're gonna see this skyline in the background, right? And so we got the New York skyline, and it looks like it's sketched. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna search out an image that you like, and I think this one looks kind of cool. And so what I'm gonna do simply is right click, I'm gonna copy image, I'm gonna return to Photoshop and press Command V on our image. There it is, and it's super small. And I'm going to press Command T to increase the size, of course, and that looks great. Next thing that I know is I'm going to press Command Shift N, enter a new layer above. And you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to hold Command, and I'm going to left click the thumbnail of layer 4, this like silhouette image, and I'm going to use the paint bucket, and I'm going to fill it, and then I'm going to press Command D. And now, you guys, we're going to change the blending mode from normal. Actually, let's just cycle through the blending modes until we find one that we think looks cool. Now, this isn't what we want. This is starting to approach what we're looking for, but this is what I think would probably work best. It doesn't look ideal with green, but I think screen is the blending mode that we want. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold Shift, and I'm gonna drag layer 4 and 5 beneath our background. I'm gonna press Command T while they're both selected. All right, and we're going to increase the size, and that looks kind of amazing. Now, here is also what I know. I don't love the shards, these green shards, concealing the Freedom Tower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return to this layer right here, and we're going to make sure that black is in the foreground. I'm going to press B, and I'm going to eliminate it just a tad. Alternatively, we can simply shift this skyline to the right, so maybe it looks a little something like this. Sure, why not? I'm going to return here. Now I'm going to press X to swap the foreground and the background, and I kind of like that. What I don't love necessarily is the color scheme, so you're going to think about what colors make sense for you. This is ultimately what I thought looked fun. I applied a gradient overlay to the text itself, the games we won, and what font did I use for this? Sign Painter. I like that one. I also like Birds of Paradise. There's so many really fun fonts that you can choose from at dafont.com, of course. 2 lives, 2 ballers, one hoop. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of creativity. Save it as a PSD, submit your JPEG. Let me know if you have any questions.